The Michigan Wolverines storm the floor here at the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor as Xavier Simpson and the Wolverines play host to the Phoenix of Elon University. Non-conference action as Michigan tries to get to 3-0. With Sean Morris, Jeff Levering with you from Ann Arbor, Michigan. And it was a big come-from-behind victory, and this Wolverines team really learned a lot about themselves against Creighton last time out. And it's these three guys that were the key.
A hard-fought win for the Wolverines coming back from a halftime deficit. Isaiah Livers, keep an eye on him as the year unfolds. A much more well-rounded game. The other thing, in addition to the outstanding performance last time out, has been the development of those three young men during their time here in Ann Arbor.
A lot of experience. Simpson, Teske, the seniors, Livers, the junior. As we take a look at the starting lineup, Simpson, of course, with Livers and Teske. Nunez and Eli Brooks also will be key contributors for the Juwan Howard-led Michigan Wolverines. Elon comes out with the starting lineup today, and of course, Poiser is certainly a guy to keep your eye on, but for Marcus Sheffield, he is a grad transfer out of Stanford that certainly need to watch for Elon.
And he leads this team in scoring at 16 points per outing, also leads them in assists at 5 per ball game. He will be at the top of the scouting report defensively for the Michigan Wolverines.
Eli Brooks will definitely be a key for Michigan, as well as we're about ready to tip things off. John Teske loses the tip-off to Federico Poiser, and the Elon Phoenix with possession of the basketball. They lost to Georgia Tech last time out as a kicking violation on Teske. Keeps the basketball with Elon. This is a team that shoots the three really well, with the exception of what they did last time, and you can't go anywhere but up if you're Elon coming into this one.
Yeah, 3 for 30. I'm not a math major. That's 10%. And this was a team a year ago in Elon. An inordinate amount of their shots were from behind the arc. 51% of their shots a year ago were from three-point range. They're looking to kind of even that out this season.
And a travel by Livers and a turnover on the first possession for the Wolverines. A very, very short possession for Michigan. Mike Schrage in his first season at Elon, longtime assistant coach the last couple of years at Ohio State. He has had his fair share of experience with some great coaches along the way over the course of his career. Sheffield drives and ran into a wall and ended up walking with it. Eli Brooks forcing the turnover.
It was a small thing, but an important thing by Teske. He moved over laterally, Jeff, and when the ball handler saw him coming, in this case it was Sheffield, he shuffled his feet because of the shot blocking presence of Teske. Teske forced the turnover because of his willingness to move laterally.
Teske has become such a great weapon, not just an inside threat, but his shooting from the outside has improved with every year he's been in Ann Arbor. Trying to get it inside. He's got a huge size advantage, and we're going to get a foul underneath as Poiser picks up his first. He's going to have his work cut out for him today, the sophomore. Poiser against Teske. As you see, Juwan Howard, first season as the head coach of Michigan. Big shoes to fill with John Beilein going to the NBA.
And Poiser, the reason that armbar was called is that it was outside that 3-foot area on the lane. Very easy call for the official to make.
It's an Elon team that does not have a ton of size. As Teske going to work down low on Poiser, and he walked with it.
I'll tell you what, nice job by Elon here in the early going of employing that zone. You can tell they want to negate the size advantage put forth out there by Teske. They're surrounding him. So far, Michigan has not been able to get into any kind of offensive flow.
Both of these teams, 3 straight possessions have ended in turnovers. Trying to clean it up offensively for both squads as Sheffield knocks down the first jumper of the game.
And a nice job by Sheffield of waiting until Poiser got set with the screen. A lot of times you'll see another turnover because he will not wait for the guy setting the screen to get set. Here he showed the advantage, came off shoulder to shoulder.
There's Nunez for 3 and off the heel and corralled by the junior Simon Wright. First shot of the game put up there by Michigan. Here's McIntosh. Tough shot for McIntosh.
And he struggled last time versus Georgia Tech, 1 of 12 from the floor.
And a blocking foul will be called on the other end by the freshman Hunter McIntosh as the senior Simpson was barreling down the lane. First personal for McIntosh. Again, we talked about the struggles offensively for Elon last time. Put up just 41 points. Shot 21% from the floor. Nowhere to go but up. Trying to get the ball in. Teske hands it back off to Simpson. Simpson trapped.
Tough pass. Tough pass to put Teske in that situation. You know, a rare mistake mentally by Xavier Simpson, because there was a lot of traffic. Look at all the traffic surrounding Teske, and then you throw a bounce pass. Even if he catches this cleanly, not a lot of things are happening. That's going to lead Teske right into a very difficult situation. Unfortunately for Michigan, they will retain possession.
Elon using that third quote-unquote defender as well as the baseline out of bounds. A little sloppy offensively to get going for Michigan. This is what they looked like a little bit against Creighton last time out. It was a second half blitz where they started to really come together offensively and on the defensive end, but a bit of a slow start. And, you know, with Juwan Howard, they're going to want to play fast, and they just haven't done that quite yet. Put a couple of seconds back on the shot clock. Up to 20 seconds now. Teske underneath. Good feed by Teske.
What wonderful execution on the out-of-bounds play. They fall asleep, do the Phoenix on Simpson, able to step in. Nice delivery from Teske.
Terrific passer. Great vision for a big man. McIntosh going right at Teske, and the floater's good.
Nice job right there by Sheffield coming under control, and I thought that Teske was going to contest that a little bit more aggressively. He did not.
And the man in double figures last time out for Elon. There's Eli Brooks and his shot. Perfect.
Yeah, I really liked his development toward the end of last year. Wasn't able to put up a whole lot of tangible numbers in terms of shooting the ball, but he made a lot of hustle and effort plays. That allowed him to get more playing time, and now offensively, he's become much more of a viable option here in Ann Arbor.
Came out of the gate strong, 24 against Appalachian State. A victory, a 10-point victory. Sheffield weaving through, fades away. Teske had it altered.
And that's what I talked about on the previous possession. He did not actively contest the shot on Sheffield. Sheffield went back to the well, and Teske would have none of it. And nice inbounds execution, breakdown in communication. The most dangerous guy on the floor is always the trigger man. In that case, it was Simpson. And Jeff, we talked about Eli Brooks. We showed the three guys at the top of the show and what they've meant, but Eli Brooks, I think, has a chance to really be an impactful player here, because not only has he become a much more confident shooter, especially from three-point range, but just understands the game, spacing, and getting his teammates the ball in a position where they could do something with it effectively.
They go underneath with Poser out of the lineup with 2 personal fouls. They go to Chuck Hanna, the sophomore. And Hanna immediately picks up a foul. And if you're Elon, you have a short bench to begin with, and fouls are going to start to pile up with a guy like Teske down low. 4 fouls already. 3 of them have been when trying to defend Teske. Nunez on the curl. Adrian Nunez, everything but the bottom right with another rebound, but a good look.
Second really impressive execution on an inbound situation by Michigan thus far.
McIntosh underneath and out of bounds. It will go to Michigan. Out of the reach of Chuck Hanna on the bounce pass. 4-4 game early going in Ann Arbor. Big football game coming up right across the street. Michigan State, Michigan tomorrow afternoon. Xavier Simpson a long 2, and it's off the flange. And they got it back. And only to turn it back over to Elon. 3 by Sheffield. And Marcus Sheffield off the mark. Livers pulls it in. Isaiah Livers playing with a new sense of confidence here in 2019-2020. Teske going right down the hoop and trying. Couldn't get it to go.
Nice rim run by Teske. Good job by Livers of using that shot fake and then dumping it into Teske.
You mentioned Livers. He has come out and looked like a different guy altogether this season, his junior year.
Good help by Brooks defensively.
Chuck Hanna too strong on his shot. And a rebound going to stay with Elon. Take a quick timeout here in Ann Arbor. Good start, 4-4 game, Elon in Michigan. And we welcome you courtside, everybody, along with Sean Morris, Jeff Levering with you. We talked about it a couple of moments ago. Isaiah Livers looks like a totally different guy here in his junior season.
Well, you can tell he's remade his body a little bit. Always an outstanding three-point shooter, 43% from behind the arc. Last year, he led the conference in that category. But last time out against Creighton, he showed a much more versatile offensive game, more assertive in finding his shot, very effective and efficient. When he did take the shot, 8 of 12 from the floor. But to me, the play that stood out, he got on the floor in the second half when they were down and dug out a loose ball, found his teammate, and I think that really set the tone for a lot of these young other guys. Look, if probably our best player is willing to go on the floor and make a play like that, it really helps, especially with some of the younger guys.
Juwan Howard made it a point of emphasis to let us know as McIntosh with a deep 2, an air ball into the hands of Elon out of bounds, and it will go to Michigan.
And how about Michigan coming out in the situation and showing some zone? It took Elon a little bit of time to figure it out.
Yeah, Juwan Howard came over to us at the end of shoot-around and said, hey, listen, if you're willing to be the first one on the floor, if you're the first one to try and take charge of something, that's going to go a long way with your teammates. And Livers has been that kind of guy in his 3 years now at Michigan, but even more so now in that leadership role. Teske cross-court pass. Brooks for 3, and Eli Brooks fills it up.
Nice job by Brooks of getting his feet set, but how about the look weak side by Teske, and he hit Brooks right in the shooting pocket. It's a small thing, but an important thing. Brooks did not have to reload to go right into his motion effectively.
Teske with a couple of assists. He's yet to score in the game. Brooks with 5 in the early going. Andy Pack on the floor for the first time for Elon. 9 to shoot. Wright runs into a pair of Wolverines defensively. Now 4 to shoot. And a tough shot. Couldn't go. That was Chris Wooten.
And I tell you what, Wright got blocked out by Brooks, and he hit the floor hard down on this end of the floor.
And Wright is back up near side of your screen.
His quaff was unaffected, however.
That is big league on the quaff. Take a look at that block out again by Eli Brooks underneath after the shot.
Nice job defensive. Watch the bottom of your screen. Nothing ill intent there. He just left his feet. Brooks was doing his job, and Wright fortunately was able to bounce back. He'll feel that in about 25 years.
Well, and Brooks just picked up the personal foul as well. Elon 0 for their last 5. And finally, making 1 out of 6 is the sophomore Chris Wooten.
I've been really impressed with both teams and their execution on out-of-bounds scoring situations. We've seen Michigan do that twice, and here Elon returns the favor with a nice little curl and screen.
Elon worked on it a ton in their shoot-around today. David Julius is on the floor for the first time for Michigan. 9 to shoot. Bobbing and weaving. There goes Simpson on the drive. It got taken away. Out of bounds, and it will stay with Michigan with just 5 seconds on the shot clock.
And again, if you are Elon, you have to be cognizant of the trigger man. Remember a few possessions ago, Simpson dumped it into Teske. They turned their head. They didn't honor ball you man. Now you have to make sure that you keep an eye on the trigger man and stepping in, especially with 5 seconds here to go on the shot clock.
DeJulius trying to get it in. Simpson's got it into the corner. 1 to shoot, gotta go, and Livers short. Good defensive possession that time by Elon.
A nice job. They were able to clean it up, and throughout that entire possession, that ball was almost essentially entirely on the right side of the floor, so Elon was able to kind of draw an imaginary fence and only defend half the real estate.
Elon trying to regain the lead as Pack ran into Simpson and Teske up ahead. Xavier Simpson. And trying to find the outlet, threw it away. Hanna was right there to intercept the pass.
Nice job by Hanna of running to the corner and taking away that three-point opportunity.
Back on offense goes Elon after numbers were going the other way for the Wolverines. Half the shot clock has expired. Sheffield driving. Got his man in the air. Marcus Sheffield, tough shot.
Tough shot playing through some contact and utilizing the window. I've really been impressed with what Elon's been able to do here so far. What they were working on in the shoot-around, Jeff, is starting to pay dividends here.
Sheffield with 6 of the 8 points for the Phoenix.
Good active hands.
Another turnover by Michigan. Andy Pack with some slick offensive moves, but couldn't hit the layup. Ran into a wall of Livers. Michigan's been a little sloppy with the basketball. 5 turnovers. Brooks off the mark.
Good active hands, Jeff. Sorry about that by Elon. I've really been impressed. They on many possessions have been the aggressor on the defensive end.
Sheffield again, this time short. Michigan from beyond the arc, just 1 of 6. Team that came in at 37.5%. Livers short again.
He didn't catch it cleanly, and you could tell with the release, he didn't have that backspin, kind of a side spin on there.
Now just 1 for 7. for the Wolverines.
Good job by Livers of getting over the top and taking away that little dribble handoff.
Wright trying to go down low. He's got Hannah with Teskey on him. Hannah steps back and hits the jumper. 3-point lead for Elon. A timeout called by Juwan Howard and Michigan.
Elon playing very confidently. They're setting the tone on the defensive end, and it's paying dividends on the offensive end. Their leading scorer, Marcus Sheffield, and then inside pivot, you back off, you make them pay. Hannah delivering here for Elon on the road.
Is awfully impressive, Sean.
And it's always refreshing to see a guy that puts the time in and climb the proverbial ladder. And that guy has certainly done that, and he has learned from some of the best, most recently with Chris Holtman at Butler and at Ohio State.
Worked for 8 seasons with Johnny Dawkins, whose son went to school here for a couple of years before transferring. Johnny Dawkins at Stanford, 9 seasons as the director of basketball operations and recruiting at Duke. Even spent a little bit of time at Indiana with Bobby Knight. That'll grow you up real quick. Livers going around, and Isaiah Livers off to a cold start. He's 0 for his first 3.
And Elon has decided, look, we're going to give up things on the perimeter. They are going to pack it in, and so far it has paid dividends. 1 of 7 from behind the arc for Michigan. And this is a team in Elon that came in shooting a lot of threes, but so far in building this lead, only 1 3-point attempt for the Phoenix.
Phoenix going and learning from what they did against Georgia Tech, falling in love maybe a bit too much with a 3-point shot. 3 to shoot. Gotta go. Zach Irvin. And a turnover because of the shot clock violation. Better defense, great help for Michigan.
And better communication on the defensive end of the floor. They were talking, you could hear them on the dribble drives, on the dribble penetration, and they were much more in sync defensively there than they have the last 2 possessions.
I think for Juwan Howard, he's a little tired of seeing offensive rebounds for his opponents.
Well, so far the much smaller Phoenix with 4 offensive rebounds, and that follows up a game against Creighton where they gave up 18 offensive rebounds.
Colin Castleton working down low, fadeaway jumper. Castleton too short. And the shooting woes continue. Just 1 for the last 9 from the floor for Michigan.
And a good job again by Elon of forcing Castleton away from the basket.
And a foul on DeJulius. Thought it was going to be a block. Instead, the foul. Irvin's going to go to the line and shoot a couple.
And this young man, Zach Irvin, big-time scorer in high school in the state of Virginia, 33 points per game a year ago.
Not the same Zach Irvin that was a Michigan Wolverine from a few years ago. Same name, E instead of an I on the last name as well. And so Juwan Howard chatting with the sophomore David DeJulius. Go to the note card as Irvin gets ready to shoot a couple. Subs coming in for Elon. Irvin makes the first. Later on tonight on BTN, Big Show delivers highlights, interviews, and post-game reaction. It's all tonight at 11 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Big week in the Big Ten Conference. Of course, the Gavitt games all finished up with the Big Ten Conference winning 5 out of the 8 over the Big East. Some great action over the last 4 days.
How about the night the conference had last night with Penn State going on the road, winning at Georgetown? Really, really good win for Coach Pat Chambers and the Nittany Lions, especially when, you know, your preseason all-conference player, Lamar Stevens, didn't necessarily have his best game on the offensive end of the floor. And then if you look at the bottom right of your screen, Michigan State going into an extremely hostile environment and able to overcome 37 points by Miles Powell, and just a wonderful performance in a very difficult environment for the Spartans.
Simpson had it knocked away, and it's going to stay with Michigan. A hard-fought battle for that possession for the Wolverines. Miles Powell always kind of felt like he was going to play in that game against Michigan State, huh?
Yeah, that was, I was not surprised.
He had a good one, but Michigan State came away with a victory. And Northwestern with a big win as well over Providence. Into the corner for a 3, and finally DeJulius ends a 7-0 run.
And a good delivery by Simpson. That's what makes him so effective. He put that right in the shooting pocket for DeJulius, who did his work while the pass was in the air, getting his feet set.
Hannah outsized, trying to get around Castleton. Now over to Woods. Back to Hannah. And here comes DeJulius and the Wolverines. And a foul and a reach in by Elon. Xavier Simpson, you talked about the perfect pass. Here it is again, Sean.
Watch where it hits DeJulius, right into his shooting pocket. He didn't have to relocate his hands. It went right into rhythm. He did his work with the pass in the air. But if that is down toward his knees or not toward that side of his body, it's going to make it a much more difficult shot for DeJulius to complete.
DeJulius with his first shot. He's got 3 rebounds to go along with it. Xavier Simpson, just one of the cornerstones of this program. Once he leaves after this year, he has really etched his name into Michigan basketball lore. I know that. Tough pass into the corner. There's Brooks. Another miss by Michigan.
I think Brooks got caught between. He thought he was going to use the window initially, then changed his mind at the last minute.
Tough left-handed scoop, and it wouldn't roll in for McIntosh. Elon going to the very small lineup with their bigs in foul trouble. Cozaire and Hannah both with a couple of personals. There's Simpson for 3. Rimmed in and out. 1-point lead for Elon on the road. Woods from the free throw line. And that one couldn't go either. Castleton pulls down the board.
Might not be a bad time to get the ball in Livers' hands and let him do something here.
Julius trying to get around Irvin. Step back, fade away. That's a good play by DeJulius.
And you know what? Since that made 3 in the corner, you've seen a little bit of a bounce in DeJulius' step. Nice job of hunting the shot because the Elon defense was forcing the ball away from the side of Livers.
And we'll get a foul. And it will be on Castleton. DeJulius had 9 points and 7 rebounds in the win against Creighton. It's a nice move.
Nice footwork as well. You get the defense going one way, then you come back the other. Watch the jump step, boom. Keep that pivot foot anchored. That's solid basketball, and that's player development.
And Zach Irvin on his heels defensively. Teskey back in, replacing Castleton. Sheffield, nice pass to right, top of the key, no good. And the rebound by Brandon Johns Jr. On the floor for the first time tonight for Michigan. Inside, Teskey, and a chance for a 3.
That pass was a thing of beauty. I mean, the post feed is a lost art. It's found here in Xavier Simpson. Away from the defense, you put Teskey in a position where he could do something positive. That shows you why he's one of the elite guards in the country.
Basketball on BTN is brought to you by State Farm. Talk to a State Farm agent today. Back in Ann Arbor, Michigan, where the Wolverines are on a 7-0 run. A lot of John Teskey and Xavier Simpson with this vision, the thing of beauty.
And the delivery to the big fella where he could do something positive with it. You know, our good friend and counterpart at the Big Ten Network, no one was better than Stephen Bardo in getting the ball inside of the post position, utilizing shot fakes in the bounce pass. And the pass by Simpson, not only was it away from the defense, but it led Teskey right into a shooting motion. And that is something that maybe gets overlooked, but you cannot understate the importance of something like that.
It's a part of the game that gets lost in today's era of the shoot first, don't really worry about the low post game. It's all about how many threes you can hit a lot of times. But those little fundamental things can go a long way over the course of a season, course of a career. Sheffield trying to find some space, and a tie-up will stay with Elon.
Yeah, he dribbled right into trouble. Good job by Teskey of showing strong until the teammate Johns Jr. was able to come over and tie it up.
7 on the shot clock for Elon. No reset on the held ball. Sheffield had a nice start, tough shot, and DeJulius with a rebound. He's had a nice day, DeJulius. That's his 4th rebound.
Woo! Nice crossover.
Trying to split the middle. Cross-court pass, Simpson corrals, and a reset, plenty of time. There goes Simpson again for 3. And the three-point shooting woes continue. 2 out of 8 so far.
And for folks that this may be the first game they've watched this year, they may say, hey, there's something wrong with the shot clock. No, on any offensive rebound, rather than recycling to 30, it only resets to 20.
So now 5 to shoot. Great feed again by Simpson. Count it, and a chance for 3. Another perfect feed from Xavier Simpson.
And he utilizes the bounce pass, but look where it is. It's not down at Johns Jr. It's not down at his knees. Watch where it is. It's right up into his shooting motion, right at the waist where he can catch it and complete it.
10-0 run for Michigan. Free throw makes it 11-0, and Johns Jr. does indeed. Another foul by Elon. Simon Wright picked it up. Foul trouble already. 7 team fouls by the Phoenix. Just over 3 minutes during this great run by Michigan offensively. Perfect feed underneath, and all by himself was Federico Pozer.
And just a little breakdown in verbal communication between the Wolverines there. You had 2 on the ball. They didn't rotate over. Much needed basket for the visitors.
Hadn't been on the floor very much. Picked up 2 early fouls in this one. Pozer. Did a pretty good job on Teske. Go over the top with all that size. And Teske's going to go to the line. If they get Pozer, that is his 3rd. Instead, they'll get Hunter Woods. Pozer, whose dad is a professional cyclist, Michel. As Teske goes to the line to shoot a couple.
Pozer Federico has played on the Italian national team. Got 2 early fouls.
Yeah, he's got some range. Got a funky looking shot, but he's very accurate with it.
I blame it on the metric system.
As we can blame most things.
Yes.
Some pressure here from Michigan in the backcourt.
I go back to the timeout that Coach Juwan Howard took. Message received. And as if on cue, the 12-2 run that was spurred by that. Great minds think alike.
8 to shoot. 3-ball. McIntosh. And a weak side rebound held on to. Livers tries to keep it alive, and the tap to Sheffield. Teske out defending the 3-point line. Now inside Pozer. And Livers right there to help out defensively.
Livers kind of gimping a little bit coming down the floor.
Simpson left-hand finish. Nunez ready to check in for Michigan. It's a 14-2 run now for the Wolverines. Largest lead of the game at 8. Sheffield from the elbow. That's a pretty shot.
Woo, that's a tough shot too, because Teske, even though he was a little late, that's still, Jeff, that's a big target to try to get that shot over.
8 points. The grad transfer from Stanford, Marcus Sheffield. DeJulius off the rim, going to Elon. Numbers for the Phoenix. McIntosh went right at Simpson, and a blocking foul on Xavier. Take a look at Isaiah Livers. You mentioned a couple of moments ago, a little gimpy. Maybe this is why.
Kind of lands awkwardly, and then he goes with his back into the score step. That's a smart play by DeJulius. You never save the ball underneath your own basket, but what he did when he realized where he was, rather than put it in softly, he threw it back toward midcourt.
McIntosh hits the first. Couple of subs coming in, as mentioned. Nunez comes in for Livers. Seems to be okay, not favoring much, but you could definitely tell that he was grimacing after he came down after catching the pass.
Yeah, they'll try to maybe even put him on the bike, keep him stretched out a little bit, because you don't want something like that to tighten up.
And 2 free throws by McIntosh to make it a 4-point game. Both offenses have been pretty quiet. Credit both the defense, but some cool shooting. And a great move by Simpson.
Yeah, and that's not going to make Elon happy, because Simpson was dribbling at a double team, and he was able to split it because he got lower than the defenders.
There haven't been a lot of easy looks for either team on the offensive end. Sheffield is in double figures.
And you know what? Sheffield does a really good job of using screens. A lot of times guys won't utilize the screen properly. What I mean by that is coming off shoulder to shoulder and dipping down to come around, so you lose the defender and lead yourself into a shot. Sheffield shows you how effective you can be if you use the screen correctly.
DeJulius, step back three. DeJulius, great first half. He's got 8 points. Energizes the crowd. Setting up the offense, Elon. Andy Pack looking for help with Sheffield. 5 to shoot. Sheffield for 3. That time a bit of a rush shot. Shot clock was winding down. Trying to get a look inside for Teske. Simpson instead, the 3, top of the key.
And they're playing off Simpson because they understand that he's far more effective off the dribbling, getting in the lane. They're willing to give up that 3-point shot to Xavier Simpson, who so far tonight has come up wanting from behind the arc.
Go.
Elon facilitating. There is Sheffield, and he buries the 3.
And again, Jeff, he utilized the screen properly. He didn't widen out and allow the defender to move through.
And right on the other end, the 3 is knocked down. Exchanging 3-pointers last couple of possessions. Simon Wright. Not a good shot that time by the junior. Simpson trying to push the tempo. Teske for 3. Not that time.
1 of 7 through the year from behind the arc for the big fella.
Starting to show that range. Accuracy still a work in progress. And a timeout called by Elon. 1:52 to play here in the first half. Michigan up by 7. Divided we stand. Sunday, 9 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Be bustling across the street at the Big House tomorrow. Michigan State's in town. Saw the cavalcade of semi-trucks.
Cavalcade, that's a word you don't hear enough. I like that word.
It's Big Word Friday here on BTN, so I'm glad we could bring that to you. Sheffield,
good help.
high 13.
Good help by Teske until Brooks was able to get over the screen for Sheffield.
5 to shoot. Elon's got to get moving offensively. Pat got around Johns Jr. and Pat couldn't finish. Into the hands of DeJulius. He grabs another rebound. 8 rebounds for DeJulius.
Matches his point total.
Having a great first half. Juwan Howard can't take him off the floor. He's been so productive. Been more of a small lineup for Michigan. Matching up with Elon. Nunez, deep 3. Couldn't go. And we'll get a foul underneath Teske. Hannah pushed off.
That's the right call. If Hannah's able to get around on Teske, he might be able to body up. But watch the bottom of your screen right here. Teske gets the inside position, the nudge, and that's an easy call for the official. But that was made possible because Teske did not become a spectator when the shot went up and allow Hannah to get the inside position.
Hannah picks up his 3rd personal foul. Poser with a couple of fouls as well. So that's your size element to try and deal with Teske and Castleton. Teske hits the first of 1 and 1. McIntosh coming in for Andy Pack. 8-point lead for Michigan. Matches their largest lead. And now make it a 9-point advantage.
Jeff, I go back to the timeout earlier in this half that was employed by Coach Juwan Howard and his staff over there. They got their message across very clearly. And to the credit of these young guys on the floor, they responded.
The defense has stepped up in a big way. This was one of the best defenses in all of college basketball a year ago, as DeJulius lets it go out of bounds, and Michigan, 54 ticks left in this first half, have a chance to go up by double digits. But when you lose guys like Jordan Poole, Brasdakis, Charles Matthews. You pick up on the defensive end. That's what they've done so far this year, even with a new head coach. Same principles. A lot of the same personnel. Leading the clock down. Brooks going around the screen, and it got altered. Teske tried to save it into the hands of Wright and Elon.
And if you're Elon, unless you have a wide open layup, you want to take this all the way down and not allow Michigan to get another crack on the offensive end. I mean, the shot clock and game clock are almost completely synchronized.
Yeah, shot clock should be off. It seems like it's just a couple of ticks behind the game clock. But either way, last shot opportunity for Elon. Sheffield found the double inside Poser. And he got blocked on the backside by Jones Jr. And that is how the first half ends. Great help by Jones Jr.
Really good execution by Elon. But this is, again, we talked about Teske not giving up on a play. Jones Jr. also shows you why you don't become a spectator.
9-point lead for Michigan here at the half in Ann Arbor. After the break, we'll send it to our BTN studios in Chicago. Halftime report with Mike Hall and Robbie Hummel is right on the other end of this timeout. Stick around. We'll be back in Ann Arbor. Michigan with a nice run here late. A 9-point lead right now for Michigan. And we welcome you courtside, everybody, along with Sean Morris, Jeff Levering with you here. And Sean, it really was a tough, sluggish start for Michigan early on, but Xavier Simpson started dropping some dimes.
Very efficiently in doing so. Michigan was not able to get into any kind of offensive flow, but Xavier Simpson showed you why he was able to lead the conference in assist-to-turnover ratio at 3-to-1, putting it in a position where his teammate could do something with it. First, David DeJulius. Secondly, there, nice job of leading John Teske into his shooting motion. Then completing the trifecta with Brandon Johns Jr. on a nice backdoor play. But it was a timeout called by Coach Juwan Howard at about 11:30 mark of that first half. He really got the attention of his players. They were struggling with turnovers in the first 8 or 9 minutes. That was not the case as the half unfolded.
24-12 run after that timeout for Juwan Howard's Wolverines. This is where Michigan has made their turns in their first couple of ball games. Halftime adjustments, and you look at Howard's NBA experience and what he was able to do at the NBA level as an assistant. Making those adjustments at halftime as Livers has still been awfully quiet. Teske is fouled underneath. And for Teske, I mean, that's going to be a battle that a lot of teams are going to lose, not just Elon.
And Poser picks up his third foul extremely quickly here at the beginning of the second half.
Teske with 6 points. And now 4 out of 6 from the free throw line to go with his 5 rebounds. But just to finish the thought on halftime adjustments for Juwan Howard. Creighton had 18 offensive rebounds against them last time out. He cleaned some things up on the defensive end. They end up going away and outscoring Creighton 42-32 in the second half.
In addition to the NBA experience, you also have just some unbelievable basketball experience in that entire staff, most notably Coach Phil Martelli and his experience. A lot of basketball knowledge from which to draw.
Poser trying to get around Teske. Tough shot. Nice move by Poser. Not an easy body to get around Teske. It's 7-1. Livers without a point in the first half, 0 for 4 from the floor. As Nunez dials up a 3.
Good job by Nunez of not taking the extra dribble because the help was there. He pulled up under control, shot that confidently. He's now right around 50% from behind the arc on the year. Came in with a great reputation as a shooter last season, just not able to get it going. Nice
backdoor pass and a foul. Sheffield's going to go to the line. Eli Brooks picks up the personal. Back to Nunez. It was a long 2 for him, not a 3. As you were mentioning, Phil Martelli, longtime head coach at St. Joe's, his first season as the associate head coach, and what a great sounding board for Juwan Howard to have on his staff.
And just what a great person to have in the conference, specifically here at the University of Michigan. what he's meant to the game. It's just so good to have good people in the coaching business. He brings a ton of experience, a ton of class, a ton of integrity, and, you know, quite frankly, he deserved far better than what he got at St. Joe's.
For Juwan Howard, leaning upon those assistants very heavily. It's been a long time since he's been in the college ranks, and things have changed just slightly since the early 90s.
The shorts come to mind.
Yes, that's one big glaring difference. Juwan Howard was integral in changing that. Simpson wide open three.
Well, Elon has decided they have to kind of pick their poison with the senior point guard. They were allowing open threes earlier. That paid dividends, but if Simpson can get it going here, that's going to make those dribble drives that much more effective.
5 for 15 from three now for Michigan, and a turnover by Elon. They get back on defense. Livers pulls it back out. Brooks into the corners. Simpson. All that speed. He is so quick.
Nice job by Posier there of not giving up. He got his body into Teskey. That kind of disrupted the timing of that lob.
Undersized, but he's got some savvy to him, the sophomore. McIntosh from the free throw line. And Brooks up ahead. A 4-on-2 break.
Good transition defense by Elon.
Tell Livers there a couple of moves that he has to make, and there's a slight grimace on his face when he does it. Livers underneath in his first points of the game.
And I tell you what, he put his shoulder right into the chest of the defender to clear out some space.
A couple of turnovers, a couple of rebounds, now a pair of points for Livers. Moment late in that first half, may have tweaked something on an out-of-bounds play. Simon Wright goes right into Nunez. And Wright with a left hand, nice move.
And there was a breakdown defensively because you knew that Wright was trying to get to that left hand. They took it away initially, but they didn't complete the deal. They let him spin back to the strong or left hand.
First points for Wright to go with 5 rebounds. Inside looks, Simpson now pulls it back out. Brooks, plenty of time, 10 on the shot clock. Brooks with the left hand hits the floater.
That's pretty. Avoid the potential charge. Go to the offhand. Brooks just continues to improve and impress.
Brooks with 7. It's been very well distributed with the scoring today for Michigan, as Woods knifing his way through. Now Wright for 3, short, and up and over the backboard.
Well, Isaiah Livers, the leading scorer for Michigan, has been held in check, but they're not able to hold him in check there. That's a weight room basket there, putting the shoulder into the defender. And you know, Eli Brooks, you can just see his confidence on the offensive end continuing to rise.
Brooks out of Pennsylvania, the junior. Teskey goes up and under.
He put his shoulder right into Posier. I mean, right into him, and created that space.
Nothing Posier could do. He's sitting on 3 fouls, too. If he picks up his 4th, he's in a whole world of trouble. Chuck Hand is on the bench with 3 already. McIntosh gets around now. Wright met by Livers. Posier, quick shot.
He wanted to get it off. He shot that a little bit too quickly because he wanted to avoid the shot blocker in Teskey, who completes the play by running the floor.
How about that dart pass from Xavier Simpson?
How about the hands? That's not an easy catch.
Timeout, Elon, as Michigan starting to pull away, and a quick start by the Wolverines in the second half. We are in Ann Arbor, Michigan, with their largest lead of the game, 45-28. Over on BTN Plus, Luka Garza and the Iowa Hawkeyes hosting Oral Roberts. Iowa trying to turn the page after a tough loss in the Gavitt games against DePaul earlier this week.
Yeah, the Blue Demons jumped on them early and never let off the accelerator.
And for Iowa, again, trying to get themselves back right with Fran McCaffrey in his 10th year at the helm in Iowa City. Juwan Howard in year number 1 in Ann Arbor. As Sheffield was fouled by Xavier Simpson, he thought he had a clean steal. Simpson heads to his bench as we take a quick timeout. Michigan still leading 45-28. Talk to his State Farm agents today. The band in full horn here in Ann Arbor, and I have so many questions about this.
If this were Jeopardy, the answer would be, what could go wrong with a grown man dancing by himself? The answer, that.
Here's my question. Is that a mother and a son? Are they friends? Do they know each other at all?
If they were friends, they're not anymore.
No.
You take one upside the chin, and I like you and everything, but you smack me upside the head, I'm not going to like you as much.
No, I'm beating cleats out of here. I know that. Sheffield put it on the floor and knocks down the jumper's first points of the second half.
Really nice job by Sheffield of utilizing that shot fake, get the defender up, and not take the extra dribble into traffic. Pulling up. Nice job by the grad transfer.
17 for Sheffield in his 23 minutes. Eli Brooks sets up the offense with 7 to shoot. And into a couple of defenders. Underneath pass, Livers finished.
How about looking off the defender? He completely looked off the defender. The eyes of the Elon defenders went with Brooks, and then the excellent delivery.
It's a Patrick Mahomes no-look pass, Kansas City Chiefs. That's what it looked like. Zach Irvin. And now Chris Wooten. Time winding down. Chuck Hanna drills the jumper over the top of Teskey.
You know what? He got into foul trouble, but when Hanna was on the floor, he was very productive for Elon in the first half.
5 rebounds. Now give him 4 points. Nunez, quick trigger. And Teskey puts it in. Can't defend it. No answer for John Teskey. 13 points to lead the Wolverines with 6 boards. Sheffield with Simpson on him.
Good job by Simpson. Really nice job defensively.
Brooks trying to keep McIntosh out of the paint. Wooten, 3-ball. Got it. Chris Wooten, a sophomore from Kinston, North Carolina.
I've really been impressed with how hard Elon has played. This is a well-coached team. Really well-coached by Coach Mike Schrage in his first year.
Really young team, only 1 senior, the grad transfer Sheffield. Simpson around the edge and a chance for a 3-point play. High off the glass with left hand for Xavier.
Simpson known for the runner going to his right, but showing you some versatility, and he keeps his eye on the rim so much that he doesn't see the basket support. And how about this? You look off the defender, boom, you look him off, then the delivery. That's a BTN standout brought to you by Auto Owners Insurance.
I don't even need to see where I'm throwing it. I know Livers is going to be right there to pick it up. Good look.
Just wonderful job of looking off the defenders, and good timing by Livers. If he makes that cut too early, they're not going to be able to complete that play.
Officials going over to take a look over at the replay monitors.
They're going over to take a look at a potential hook and hold.
And Livers still talking with John Teskey and the rest of his teammates about that great feed from Brooks. And the officials come back, let us know nothing on a hook and hold. Juwan Howard, we mentioned that timeout that he took at the under 12.
Yeah.
And this Michigan team has been in so much sync ever since that moment.
And, you know, that also got the opportunity to get David DeJulius on the floor. That's what they were taking a look at here on the dribble drive. They waved it off. And watch the completion by Simpson. I mean, he keeps his eye on the target so much he doesn't see the basket support coming.
Blocker charge on the basket support. Missed on the 3-point play opportunity, but Simpson's got 11 to go with 5 assists. They've all been perfect, too. Sheffield over the top of Teskey.
And Sheffield almost double dribble. He almost had 2 hands on the ball there, but a good job again by Sheffield. I've been impressed with his offensive versatility this evening.
Game high 19. The rest of the team has 18 points. Livers looking for Teske up and over the top, and Teske couldn't finish it out. Pulled in by Wooten.
Cozier was like, where's the help? It finally arrived.
Sheffield now from the elbow. No, Teske hauls in another board. Teske is 7th. Livers, who's come alive here in the second half. Tough shot. Cozier poked it away.
Nice job of getting in there and battling with those 3 fouls by Cozier.
Wooten going around the screen from the elbow. Decent looks for Elon, down by 14. They have not settled for threes, I know that, after going 3 for 30 last time out against Georgia Tech. And there's a 3 off the mark by DeJulius, ends his perfect streak.
The look that Coach Howard just gave him, that's just called settling. And oh, that was great.
Just got the smirk off of his face. Sheffield with Simpson all over him. Sheffield 3, top of the key.
Hey, the folks in the Colonial Athletic Association are paying attention to what the grad transfer can do. I mean, he can score going to his left, right, nice pull-up game. He's going to be at the top of every one of the opponents that the Phoenix faced this year.
Underneath, Livers right there, the recipient of another great pass. Xavier Simpson with his 6th assist. Very deliberate offense from Elon into the hands of Sheffield. 10 to shoot. Irvin driving. Irvin, wow, able to hang and hit.
Hey, that shows you how you average 33 points per ball game in high school. That was not an easy shot. Kept his eye on the rim, able to play through some contact. Nice job by the freshman.
Over 2,300 career points, the 9th most ever in the state of Nebraska. Brooks, 3, got it. Michigan starting to fill it up. They've hit 6 of their last 8. Going to a break. 14-point lead for the Michigan Wolverines.
Well, John Teske was 2nd in the conference last season in block shots, has done nothing to diminish that production. 2 here on the evening.
Miami Heat, but also a trendsetter with what he was able to do with the shorts that he brought to the Michigan Wolverines. Went to the baggy shorts in the early 90s. And then before.
Now we're talking. All right, now we're talking. They call them shorts for a reason. And that guy right there, for folks that may not be basketball aficionados, Gary Grant was a flat-out player. Went on to an outstanding NBA career in his own right. But you want to talk about someone that could lock people down defensively, the general could certainly do that.
Starting to see the trend of the shorts get a little bit higher here over the last couple of years. As McIntosh lost it in a shot clock violation. Good possession defensive by Michigan. And speaking of short shorts, who's that guy?
Oh, the humanity. You know, that.
The only thing that would make these pictures better is if you were wearing Zubas.
That's only for special occasions and anniversaries. I still have them. The thing about those short shorts, not a natural fiber in them. Not one.
But man, were you nimble.
Oh, you had to be.
Castleton up and under. Nice play by Colin Castleton.
Good footwork. I'm going to have a word with the producer after showing that stuff. That burned retinas all over this great country of ours.
Offensive foul and a bad screen by Federico Pozer. That's his 4th personal. 16-point lead for Michigan. I'm trying to compose myself. Big win, by the way, by Northwestern yesterday in the Gavitt games.
A nice recovery against a very good Providence team. Able to hold on to the end and You know, the freshman Ryan Young, very impressive down there on the block.
Some of the youngsters within the conference that have been good for you, Sean, in the first week and a half of basketball. Turnover by Elon, a rare one for Michigan, just their 8th in the game. And after a sloppy start, had 5 in the first 4 minutes. Really calmed down nice. Castleton with a block. Some size down low for Michigan with Castleton.
Started it with a little bit of a hand hedge. You thought that McIntosh might pull up when Castleton kind of showed that hand hedge, and he took it all the way in, and he more than hedged it. He trimmed it, flipped it, cut it.
Running into a 6'11" body. Come up a little short, too. Simpson. Down into Castleton. Rozier on him, and a walk on Castleton.
And that's the right call. And you know, Castleton is still kind of developing physically. And what he showed you is when you're down there on the block, it's so important to play from the hips down. He was standing too straight up in the air, so when he caught it, he was off balance. That led to the walk. Post play is not about the hands up high. It's the waist down that makes you an effective post player.
And for Castleton, just got up into the air. He's going to pick up another personal. It's his second. One thing here for Michigan, when you have a guy like Juwan Howard, who's now the head coach, your post players are going to improve significantly.
Look, 19 years in the NBA. I mean, that's phenomenal.
A couple of championships with the Heat as a player. Juwan Howard, everybody thought that he was going to be kind of the next NBA head coach for a long time. He'd been in the mix for a couple of different jobs. But this opportunity after John Beilein left and went to Cleveland opened up, and of course he's going to be a name that's going to be in the mix, and it was a late hiring as well in the month of May. But he hit the ground and he is sprinting.
There's so many things that you want to give credit for, but how about not being afraid to bring in somebody with the experience of a Phil Martelli? A lot of people would not do that. They would not have the self-confidence to understand, hey, you know what? Look.
Gosh. Castleton slows things down. Drive to Julius. He's had a great game. Largest lead for Michigan to Julius in double figures with 10.
You know, now 3 of 5 from the floor. This was a guy that kind of in early part of the season struggling a little bit, 29% from the floor, but he has given the Michigan Wolverines a big lift, especially in the first half.
8 rebounds to go along with it. Deep 3 this time, and nothing but backboard by Hunter Woods, the freshman. Under 6 to play in the Chrysler Center. But Julius nearly had it stripped away. 8 to shoot. Livers. 2 to shoot. Almost for Livers.
Nice team defense, but really good individual defensive effort right there by Wright.
Now Woods took it right to Castleton. Hunter Woods out of Southern California, going coast to coast to go over to Elon.
With the foul trouble inside, Elon showing a little bit of his zone defense here.
To Julius, a rare miss for him. And McIntosh and the Phoenix moving the other way. It's a pesky Elon team as McIntosh rimmed in and out. They got a tough schedule coming up. They go to North Carolina in Chapel Hill coming up this weekend. Three straight tough matchups for Elon. Georgia Tech here in Michigan, then North Carolina. Good test for a young team.
They've represented themselves well here tonight. They really have, especially with how hard they have competed. The shots haven't necessarily fallen, but they put together a nice little defensive game plan because they are undersized against that Michigan front line.
Jones Jr. was fouled, and here's my question, America. Who wore it better? Juwan Howard Sean Morris. Marinate on that for a little while, folks.
He's feuding, you know, like two big, great families feuding.
The success of one is dictated by beating the other. And anytime that they act like it's not true, they're lying through their teeth.
From Fox Sports Films and BTN Originals comes the inside story of the Michigan State football and basketball rivalry. Divided we stand, Sunday at 9 Eastern on BTN and the Fox Sports app. Team Bovine in the mix here at the Chrysler Center. Michigan pulling away in the second half against Elon.
And Michigan obviously looking to milk the clock here.
That's why you're the best, Sean.
I got to do something after the visual that was imposed upon me with that last graphic as we went to break.
A couple of legendary number 25s.
Oh, yeah. The careers were eerily similar.
I know that Coach was very happy to be able to look at you in the eyes as opposed to be looking down like he was at me. I had to stand in a chair just to be eye to eye. Castleton underneath and a walk by Colin Castleton. Castleton has had a nice second half. He has 8 rebounds total, but a couple of turnovers, a couple of points. Castleton developing nicely and going up against a guy like John Teske every day in practice. That will make you better.
And he got just a little bit ahead of himself there. Shuffled the feet. But you can see the improvement from Castleton from last year to this, certainly. Nice job there of getting over the top and taking away the interior feed.
Poked it away. Castleton, the youngster, the sophomore out of Daytona Beach in Florida. Wolverines up at home. All right, thanks so much, Mike. Wolverines with a 63-46 lead here at the Chrysler Center in Ann Arbor. And Juwan Howard mentioned to us a big statistic for Michigan defensively. Hold your opponent under 41% from field goal range. Under that today. And a nice job at 34% today by this defense of the Wolverines.
They've done a nice job of funneling to help. It also is a nice luxury to have when you have a shot blocker and Teske kind of minding the store if you do happen to get beaten off the dribble. But they've really done a much better job of communicating on this end of the floor after the first 5 or 6 minutes.
McIntosh with an air ball and an open look, and it will go to the Wolverines. Castleton, it's a good luxury to have when you've got a guy like Teske at 7'1", and then to have the size of Castleton to go right behind you as well and help out. As Elon with some pressure. This Elon team is going to be tough in the CAA, I know that. Going up ahead, Johns Jr., no. And Elon will get the basketball.
And I thought Johns Jr. had the opportunity to maybe pass the ball to Castleton. Once the press was broken, looked like they might have had an opportunity to have a pass at the rim to Castleton.
Teske back in for Castleton. Stretch run here for Michigan. Juwan Howard has used Teske a lot and a ton of minutes. Is right with the left hand. And Jones Jr. with the rebound. You see the starters in this group for Michigan. They played a lot of minutes early on. This is the 3rd game of the year for the Wolverines, and you can tell that this pace that they play at, conditioning was a huge point of emphasis in the offseason. Alley-oop, Teske poked it through. Chance for a 3-point play.
Wonderful pass, but how about the ability by John Teske to tip it with his off or left hand? Now it starts with the position and placement of this pass. It's right at the rim. He's kind of getting bridged out by Pozaire inadvertently. Nice job there by the big fella. That is an athletic play by a very large man.
Teske goes to the free throw line. He leads Wolverine scores with 15 and make it 16 now. He's done great work from the free throw stripes. 6 out of 8. A nice touch from the free throw line. Andy Pack. And now Hannah, step back jumper. 20-point lead for Michigan, largest of the game. Simpson, top of the key three. Johns Jr. fighting for it. Out of bounds going to Elon. And now time for our Duluth Trading Company hardest working player, the sophomore David DeJulius, who's had a great night off the bench.
Very productive, especially in the first half when Michigan was kind of struggling to get in some kind of an offensive flow. Put up 8 first-half points on perfect shooting from the floor.
Career highs for him in points and rebounds. And he's done it basically on one shoe. Blew out a tire on one of them. There's Wooten, nothing but backboard.
And as you look at this Michigan squad, as they're going to continue their unblemished record, projecting ahead, boy, how much more effective are they going to be when Franz Wagner gets back in the lineup after having a hand injury?
Wagner, such a dynamic player. He's going to play quality minutes and a lot of minutes once he becomes active. Johns Jr. Shot clock winding down and a long rebound out to Wooten. .120 to go in this. As Pack over the top of Teskey. And Elon has gone cold here of late. Sheffield with 22 points there, just 1 for the last 14. And a timeout called to allow some subs to come in for Michigan. Up by 20, and look at this gauntlet schedule that Juwan Howard has put together coming up. Potential matchup down at the Battle for Atlantis with number 6 UNC potentially, but Louisville, Iowa, Illinois, Oregon, and Michigan State all within the next 6 weeks.
In Oregon, that'll be a return game next year that they'll go out to Eugene. Louisville under Chris Mack really has a chance to be certainly an NCAA tournament team, but someone that can make a deep run and will challenge to possibly win the ACC this year.
Also have a matchup with Iowa State in that mix as well. You want to talk about tests. That's one of them for this team for Michigan. You got the 2 seniors in Teskey and Simpson, but after that, Livers and Brooks are the only other 2 guys that get big minutes that are upperclassmen. When you think about it, it's a pretty young team other than that quartet. See Julius on the floor running things for Michigan. Bajema on the floor for the first time in his collegiate debut. C.J. Baird with it now. And Baird with the right hand. C.J. Baird. Love to see that. Guys that work hard before games get paid off. McIntosh high off the window.
Tough shot by McIntosh. You know, they've kind of force-fed a lot of minutes to the freshman McIntosh, and some of the rough sledding he's had here early in his career are going to pay dividends for Elon down the road.
Castleton feeds underneath. Johns Jr. Great pass by Colin Castleton. Shot clock turned off. McIntosh fills it up 4 straight for Elon. And the Michigan Wolverines can milk the rest of this clock as they improve to 3-0 on this season. Again, a second half blitz that has been a big trend for this Juwan Howard-led team here this year. Another great second half to pull away for Mike Schrage and his Elon Phoenix squad. A 20-point victory for Michigan. We got 4 in double figures for the Wolverines, led by 16 from Teskey. Simpson with 11 and 7. DeJulius with another great appearance as well, with 10 points, a career high for him, and 8 rebounds. And Xavier Simpson and the Wolverines, they got tested early in this one. 22 points for Marcus Sheffield, the grad transfer from Elon. But Isaiah Livers and the rest of the Wolverines responded nicely. Just 10 turnovers in this game for Michigan. The offense wasn't as high octane as we have seen in the past, or what Juwan Howard wants to see moving forward from Michigan. But they were effective, they were efficient, and in the end they come away with a big win over Elon. Look forward to a couple of Non-conference battles, the battle for Atlantis down in the Bahamas coming up as well. As Jon Teske and the Wolverines come away with another win. And now Sean Morris standing by with Juwan Howard.
Coach, congratulations on a hard-fought win. A lot of things we can talk about. Well, let's start with something individually. What did you see from your vantage point that you got from David DeJulius tonight?
Well, I respect him a lot. I'm so happy that David had a good game. He gave us a lift in the first half because we had a little scoring drought, but he came with the energy, with the positive outs, attitude, and then as you can see, when you come in with a clear mind, positive attitude, good things happen.
You talked about something individually. Let's talk about something you did and your staff did collectively. That timeout right under the 12-minute mark, your team really seemed to respond in terms of taking better care of the basketball, making some hustle plays. Is that what you emphasized to them?
I emphasize you got to value the basketball. Every possession counts. Every possession matters. I'm just so happy we had a carryover after that discussion. But our guys bought in, man. You know, I have some guys that are really competitive. They care for one another, and also they enjoy being taught how to play the game.
You've got a lot of guys at different parts of their career, but as a first-year head coach at the collegiate level, what does it mean to you to have the senior leadership at the point guard position from Xavier Simpson?
Well, I tell you, it's an early Christmas present to have a guy like that who has so much experience, who played in big games, won in big games, well battle-tested, but he also a floor leader, a general out there. You know, I consider my Tom Brady. You know, he gets me organized.
Well, Coach, congratulations. Enjoy the win. Good luck the rest of the way. You got a really tough sledding coming up with your schedule.
Yes, we do. Every game counts. Every game matters. So we're going to keep plugging away.
Thanks for your time, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
Jeff, back to you.
All right, thanks, Sean. And to Michigan head coach Juwan Howard, 5 turnovers in the first 4 minutes, 5 the rest of the game. Once again, final score, Michigan 70, Elon 50. Coming up on BTN, we got more men's hoops as Nebraska hosts South Dakota State. For Sean Morris and our entire BTN crew, I'm Jeff Levering. Have a great rest of your night, everybody. Thanks for watching. Good night from Ann Arbor.